All right, so here is some actual weaving. I don't think I talked in the other video about how I'm trying something different than I have done. I would say it's been maybe the past 3 or 4 projects that I've tried this, where a lot of my weaving friends already do it, but I am a rule follower and I was taught differently. But you can do double the width in these sections and get extra yarn in there and not have to wind it around the beam as many times. So I have a scarf project in between the rainbow project that I'm working on right now, and each of these sections in between the dowels are 2 inches, but I've warped 4 inches worth of warp into there, and then it spreads out when it goes through the heddles and the reed and becomes as wide as it needs to. I like it because I put the scarf warp on and I wasn't really motivated to weave it, so it allowed me to put a whole different project on, and then I can choose to weave the next project when I want to, or if I don't, I can leave it there and put a different warp in the other blank spaces. And another thing that I've discovered about weaving that I really like is anything that you can use to make what you want to have happen is fair game. So a lot of tools you can get at the hardware store. It's not like you have to have specific equipment that's made particularly for whatever it is that you're trying to do. So I found weaving has made me really innovative. This is what I'm using to put my phone in one place while I try to weave. So it's just some clamps, and I can set that there. Let's see, hopefully it won't move too much. My reliable baby gate. So I sit on my bench. I need to tension up the warp. And I have my pattern marked with a little piece of sticky tack. Oh man, they're opening the garage door. So I can keep going where I was before. So I push the pencil through after I've done a section and I need to advance, I move my sticky tack so I don't forget where I was. Move my shuttle out of the way. I have a break over here that I push down, and then I advance a couple of inches to get ready to weave the next thing. And I have an end feed shuttle, which means that it comes off of a pern kind of like a pine cone. So this section gets used first, and this is what's at the very end, and it tensions through here, which allows there to be more or less pressure as it's coming off of the shuttle, which I really like. I have some boat shuttles where it spins, and I just don't enjoy weaving on that as much as an end feed shuttle. So there's that. This pattern has 2 sides. So this is the more warp dominant side, and then if you look underneath, that's where you can see the reverse and a little more detail on the actual weaving. I have this blue going right now, and I did black before, so you can see the transition there. This is my cord that I use to tie it onto the loom when I first start weaving. This is the pawl, the ratchet that keeps the beam from spinning. So there's two parts that provide the tension to keep it from rolling. When I put my foot down on this brake, it releases the back beam and allows more yarn to come through from the warp beam. And then I can either, if I leave my foot down on the brake, then I can pull more yarn through, or if I let go of the brake, then it will tension my warp. And I usually can kind of feel by how hard I've pulled on the brake how tight it is, but I can also put my hand on it and see what it feels like. Or I'll step on a treadle and see how easy it is. If it's too hard to push up the shafts, then I know that the tension on my warp is too high. So yeah, this is a little more advanced than I want. I like to have it right here to be weaving, because if it gets closer to the breast beam, then the weight of the beater causes the weft to pack in tighter, so then it's denser here and it gets less dense as it comes up here. To have the most consistent density of your fabric, you want to be weaving about like 2 or 3 inches in the middle right there. And I measure what I'm weaving. I usually keep a ribbon going, and for projects that I do relatively often, I have the ribbon marked in inch increments. I've used tape measures, but I don't like how they're plastic and then it makes permanent holes. At least this ribbon I could wash and the holes would come out. So I have it marked, like this is my kitchen item tape and it goes to 36 inches. So I weave towels and I'll be weaving napkins on here. I keep that's an air purifier because of all of the dust and stuff that's in the air with weaving. I made that chicken when I was in high school. And then I keep all my extra perns over here. I only have one wound and ready to go. And I have some extra needles for repairs here. That's a timer and some tape measures, and T-pins are great for any kinds of repairs. This is the pattern, so I was using that when I was threading my heddles and tying up. These sticks are great for warping on a plain beam. I have a sectional beam, so I don't need those, but I also use them in the front. If I'm changing fibers, then sometimes a stiffer fiber will make the fabric wider. So if you're using the same fiber the whole time, then the fabric should stack up really nicely along the edge here. And I did the widest. I'm using really stiff linen right now, so that should be the widest. But if sometimes I change my weft in the middle of a project and I end up getting it like it's wider than what was underneath here before, so then I can stick some sticks in, and that keeps the edges from flopping over, because if they do, then that will make the tension looser on the edges, and the selvages aren't as pretty. Like, I prefer selvages to look as straight as possible because that is more aesthetically pleasing. So that's weaving process for the most part, and I'll upload this for you.